What's up, everybody? This is Coach MJ. I hope you had a phenomenal weekend and that your work week or school week or whatever kind of week you're having is off to a tremendous start. So today we're going to be talking about why you should always go VIP. VIP, very important person, top shelf, first class, Swanky, upscale, any of those words. Why you should always go VIP. You know how it is when you go to maybe an event, maybe it's a party, and they have a regular ticket, and then they have a VIP ticket, right? And so with the VIP ticket, you always get all this extra stuff that the regular people don't get. The regular people just get to go in there and you get to get all these extra experiences. Maybe you meet the featured artist, whatever that is, or maybe you've been on an airplane and you've gone first class and you see how different they treat the people in first class versus the regular space. Well, we're going to be talking about why it's important for you to go VIP as often as possible, if not always. And specifically, of course, we're focusing on going VIP in life, not only in your personal life, but in your professional life as well. What do I mean? Okay, so I'm going to tell you. There's 3 reasons we're going to talk about today. It might morph into 4, but 3 reasons why leveling up, getting the nicer package, the nicer ticket, the nicer experience is going to be better for you when it comes to you creating wealth and taking your life to the next level. A lot of you are in a place of just maintaining, and most people are in a place of just maintaining. You're just doing enough to pay the bills, doing enough at work not to get fired, doing enough to get by. But you know deep in your spirit that there's more for you out there, right? A lot of you know that you have expertise that you would love to be able to monetize as a coach and teach other people how to do the thing that you have learned how to do. But there is a reason, or there are probably a number of reasons that are holding you back of why you have not been able to get to that next level. So we're going to talk about how going VIP, and when I say VIP, I mean if there's 2 options, like for my upcoming challenge, I've got a basic economy ticket, then I've got a VIP ticket. Whenever you fly, whenever you go to certain types of events, when you're in a hotel space, there's always something that's a little bit nicer, but usually people will stay within their budget, stay within their means. But what you're really telling yourself is that you want to stay within what you're used to. We're going to talk today about 3 reasons why you should always go VIP. The first one is exposure. Usually people get a taste for a better life and they get their burning desire to do more when they are exposed to more. So I'm a musician and I know a lot of musicians, right? And I was just talking to one of them earlier today, and he made a funny reference to what musicians, at least church musicians, do when they are around other musicians, right? A lot of times they will stand around in the area where the instruments are and they will watch what the other musicians are doing to learn, pick up tips, or just be inspired by what they're doing. And he called it the wall life. He said he doesn't do that anymore. And I knew exactly what he was talking about, right? But they are being exposed to what's possible. They're being exposed to something or someone that's greater, at least in some ways, than where they are, so that they can pick up something along the way that they can take to that next level with them, or that they can use adding it to what they already have. They're being exposed. That's the reason why they stand there and they look. Exposure is what lets you know what's possible in life. So if all you know are the 4 walls of your house, if all you're familiar with is your city that you live in, if the only place you ever go to eat is the fast food restaurants down the street, if the only people you ever meet are the people who are at the same station in life, who are going or have already arrived at the same place where you are, you're not going to know what's possible, right? Exposure is so important. And that's why I love travel so much, because travel exposes you to other cultures, other ways of life, other scenery. And it itself opens up your mind. That's why it's one of my favorite hobbies. It opens up your mind to what is possible. If you don't know what's possible for you, you're not going to have anything to strive towards, right? A lot of you may have a vague feeling that I want more out of life. I'd like to make more money, which when you use the word more or less, that is the worst way to build a goal because those are too vague. Those are relative. Those are subjective. More than what? If you get another quarter more than what you have now, you got more money. But that's not what you're talking about, but you're not specific. But a lot of you have a vague feeling about, I want more out of life. I want to be able to travel more. I want to make more money. I want to spend more time with my kids. But you've not actually exposed yourself to more. And so you don't see your life changing. Let me give you a little pro tip. Your life is not just going to start changing around you until you start changing. And so the way to expose yourself to what's possible is to expose yourself to what's possible. In other words, sometimes you need to take that trip that you feel like you can't afford, because it's not that you can't afford it. You just need to figure out how you can afford it. You need to start whenever you feel yourself backing down from doing what you really want to do solely because of the money, you have to ask yourself, what can I do to be able to experience this? Because people can afford whatever they want to afford. People can do whatever they want to do with their time and with their money. And that's a fact. And that includes everybody, right? So when you think in terms of what's possible for you in life, if you've never been around nicer things, you're not going to know that there are nicer things out there unless you see it on TV. But when you're watching television, right, a lot of the things are made up or exaggerated, and you're watching somebody else living their dream. That actor, that producer, that director, those co-stars, all the staff that supports to make those shows and those movies, you're watching them live your life. So I would not advise getting your exposure from television. I'm talking about exposing yourself in the real world, out here doing things, out here exposing yourself to things that are different from what you already know. That's when you get a taste to do something more, but you have to make that happen, right? That's not going to happen on its own. You have to reach out and meet new people. This is a big one. This might step on some toes, but a lot of you are around folk that are down here as far as where you want to go. You can love them. You can appreciate them. You can spend holidays with them, but you don't have to spend every day of your life down here pecking around with the chickens, but think that somehow, some way you're going to magically become an eagle. That's not how life works. That's not how success works. You have to expose yourself to different things. Going VIP is not just about getting the nicer ticket, although a lot of times it is. Sometimes save a little more money, splurge on that first class ticket. Know what that's like. Experience it. Feel yourself in those leather or leatherette seats and know this is what's possible for me. I can travel like this all the time, not just in my dreams, because a lot of people never go first class, but it's also talking about the type of people that you deal with. When we think about going VIP, the person you're afraid to talk to because you feel like they're beyond you, that's probably the very person you need to get in their ecosphere. You need to get in their universe. Meet that person that intimidates you. I was at my high school reunion this past weekend. It was so funny. There was a conversation going on. The class valedictorian, he's a very nice man. He was there. And I never knew him back in high school, but there were some individuals that were there, and they were saying they were intimidated by him because he was so smart, because he made such good grades. So they would never talk to him. They would never be around him. And he never felt like he was intimidating. He probably felt a little out of place sometimes as well, as a lot of smart kids often do in high school. But they were intimidated by this VIP, if we could call him a VIP. He was a valedictorian, right? And they would not meet him. Meanwhile, that could have been the very person that could have inspired them to do better in school, and they could have joined him. They could have been amongst these kids that were just regular kids that made better grades. You know what I mean? But they thought he was beyond them. So when I talk about VIP, it's about not only the things that you purchase for yourself, not only the experiences that you let yourself see and be a part of, but also the people you meet. The people you should be. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need to find a new group. If everybody in your group, you're not intimidated by them, and you actually feel like you're the best one in your group, not necessarily in a conceited way, but you just feel like I'm the most successful, I'm the smartest one, I'm the most progressed. You need to find a new group because you're not going to grow beyond that. You need to be exposed to something new. So that's the first reason why you need to go VIP, is for the exposure to what's possible. The second reason why you always should go VIP is for the experience. So what experience am I talking about? Coming from the job world, which the majority of you probably are, you are accustomed to trading your time for dollars. Your employer, maybe with a little bit of negotiation from you, but usually it's mostly them, decided how much your time, and really it's not just your time, it's your expertise and the things you bring to the table so they can build their wealth and their fortune, how much it's worth to them, and they break you off a little piece of that every hour. When you are accustomed to being paid by the hour, and even salaried people, okay, if you're paid by the year, if you're paid by the month, if you're paid by the week, whatever that figure is, the bottom line is it's a set amount, and it's not nearly what you're worth. I can tell you that without even knowing what you do or how much you're paid. When you come from that world, it is very different, and it's very jarring for a lot of people to think in terms of being paid by what results you create. Now, I know what you might be thinking, MJ, I am paid by my results. If I don't get results in my job, I won't keep my job. No, you are paid by the hour, and you probably, if you're a conscientious worker, you get results. But ultimately, when they look at what you're worth to them, they calculate it up by how much time you spend with them. If you believe it's about results and not time, don't go to work and just do stuff at home without their permission and get results. Now, they're going to be looking for you in that cubicle, or looking for you to log on to whatever it is y'all use at your company to show that you're online. You're paid by being there. You're paid for being there and doing things for them, not the results you get. When you move into the sphere of being an expert coach in whatever it is that you are great at, whatever it is you're passionate about, whatever problem it is you want to solve in the world, and you start to level up how much you charge, a lot of people struggle with imposter syndrome. They struggle with thinking that they're not enough. They struggle with thinking, why would somebody pay me that much money for what I do? I'm only spending an hour a week with them, 5 hours a week with them. That's a job mentality that has no place in entrepreneurship, has no place in leveling up your life and creating wealth. The bottom line is, when a person is struggling with a major life problem and they don't know the solution and you do, getting them the solution has nothing to do with how much time you spend with them. It has nothing to do with how difficult it is for you to help them. And it has everything to do with how bad they are hurting because of the problem that they have that you're going to solve, and how much the result is worth to them. For example, if someone is morbidly obese, 500-600 pounds, and their heart is shutting down because they've got to get the weight off. And Dr. Now on 600 Pound Life, I use him as an example a lot because it's just so true. He comes along with the solution: lose 30 pounds, I'll give you the surgery, then the weight will drop off if you do the things I say. Well, Dr. Now doesn't spend that much time physically with those people. The majority of the time, they are at home, they're in the hospital, they're somewhere else doing the things he taught them. They're not with him every day, 8 hours a day. He tells them what to do and he walks out the room. Either they do it or they don't. But they are there to get the result of getting down to 200 pounds. They are there for the result of taking the stress off of their heart so that they can live and be there for their grandkids and walk their daughter down the aisle and be there for their spouse and grow old together with them. That's what they're paying for. Not having constant joint pain, being able to walk up a flight of stairs without feeling like they're going to have a heart attack. That's what they're paying for, right? They're not paying for Dr. Now's time. They're not paying for how hard it is for him to help them. So as a coach, what you need to recognize is you need some experience charging more. Because when you save somebody's life, when you bring them back from the brink of depression or anxiety or whatever they're struggling with, depending on what you are an expert in, when you give them the ability to make money, when you give them the ability to restore their marriage or become a more spiritual person, whatever that thing is that you can help somebody to do, the result is priceless. And they, in order to have skin in the game when they join your coaching organization, they need to invest in themselves. But a lot of times, it's difficult for new coaches to charge what they're worth because they're bringing a job mentality to it and because they've never leveled up themselves. So if you always take the shortcut, the cheap route, the free route, you will, not only will you struggle, you will not be able to charge people what your results are really worth in the marketplace. And you'll be one of those unfortunate coaches that charges by the hour. I don't charge by the hour. Or let's say if I charge by the hour, it's thousands of dollars for an hour of my time. If you want me to coach you just one-on-one and just talk to you. But the results that you get, people that you coach, it's priceless and it's worth a lot. It's worth whatever it's worth to them, right? The marketplace will tell you what it's worth. But again, if you are used to looking for the easy route, you're used to looking for the free route. How much can I get for free without investing in myself? If you always tell yourself you're not worth spending money on, if you can get something for free, that's okay. But if it comes to spending money on your results and on your success, you won't do it. You're never going to get there because you won't be able to charge other people. You will come to it with a, why should they pay me? Back of my mind, because I don't pay other people. You need to start going VIP in your education. You need to start going VIP when you hire a coach. Get the best, invest in it. Why? They're helping you to take your business to the next level, your life to the next level, your relationship, your health, whatever it is you're hiring them for. Get the best. Getting over that something for nothing mentality is one of the biggest struggles that a person coming from a job world into entrepreneurship struggles with, whether you're a coach or whatever, because in the job world, your employer pays for all your training, right? You usually get continuing education. They pay for you to go back to school sometimes. When there's a recertification, if it's directly related to your job, they pay for it. When you become an entrepreneur, you pay for your education. It doesn't get cheaper, though. I see so many people thinking that they're going to get a free ride. Let me just go to all this free stuff and I'm going to build a 6 or 7 figure business from that. That's not how that works. Talk to any successful person. They will tell you they have spent tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars on their development. Not money that directly gave them revenue back, but it indirectly built their business to massive heights. With the way you can get used to charging other people that for what your results are worth is by becoming the type of customer that you need, the type of customer that you want, the type that takes their success seriously, the type that's not always looking for a free ride. And you accomplish that mentality by leveling up. When it comes time to buy something or experience something, you don't need to go looking for what's the cheapest way, what's the lowest way. And I know I can hear you guys now thinking, some of you thinking, MJ, I can't afford it. Again, we need to get that out of your vocabulary. It's not what you can afford. It's what you can find a way to afford. Totally different mindset in each of those statements, but it's a world of difference. You can afford whatever you want to afford. When it's important to you, you find a way. When you need another car, you find a way. When you want another house, you find a way. When you want to go back to school, you found a way. When you want that dress to wear that party or that gathering, you found a way. When you wanted to go on vacation, you found a way. When you wanted that fancy lace front wig, human hair, you found a way. We find a way to do the things we want to do. So stop saying I can't afford it when it comes to your success and investing in your development, but you can pay for these other things that come and go, or maybe they are important to you. Memories are important. Don't say I can't afford it and say, how can I afford it? How can I go VIP for myself? Because if you don't invest in your development, nobody will want to invest with you to get their development because you attract, how many times have you heard this? You attract what you are. So if you are a person that always, takes the shortcut or the cheap route because you don't feel like you're worth it, you're going to attract those kind of customers and you won't be able to charge them, or you won't be able to find people who will accept your offer. So always going VIP, always going to the next level in whatever it is you're working on, that's going to train you and hone you so that when you go to your new customers, you will have no qualms with saying, hey, this is what I charge, and not apologize for it, because you know you've also invested in yourself and your results are worth it. So we've talked about exposure to what's possible. We've talked about experience leveling up, especially when it comes to what you're able to charge as a coach. The last reason why you should always go VIP is for expansion. What do I mean by expansion? I mean being able to expand, which means to get bigger, to increase, to grow wide and be able to receive more, into a focus on abundance. What is true with universal laws is that whatever you focus on grows. Whatever you make important grows. You know how they say, it's like it's always something. When it rains, it pours. It's like it's one thing after another. That's because of their focus on there being one thing, then two things, and three things. You're focusing on what's going wrong. Now, am I saying there's never a time when there's multiple problems that stack up? No, I'm not saying that. It happens to me. It happens to a lot of people. But your focus on it and where you let your mind go when one problem hits and another one determines what's going to happen the next time. And all of a sudden, it seems like you have all this stuff going on. The bottom line is the same problems you have, successful people have them as well. They do. You might be thinking they don't have the money problems. No, they have different money problems. If you got to write the IRS a check for $1 million, that's a different type of problem. Like, no, you might think you want to write that check. You don't. Rich people don't want to write those kind of checks. Okay. They have different money problems. They may still have health problems because health doesn't care if you're wealthy, right? You might be able to get some better health care, but ask Steve Jobs if his money helped him to avoid his outcome. It didn't matter. His health took a turn and he went out of here. Your relationships, you see celebrities, they have relationships that struggle just like yours. Everybody has the same type of problems, but the hyper successful, now I'm not talking about celebrities, I'm talking about hyper successful people who know how to create results in their lives. You may have never even heard of these people. They have a way of flipping their mind so that when a problem comes, they don't hunker down into the problem. They expand into the solution. Instead of saying, oh my God, why is this happening? What am I going to do? They say, okay, here's the problem. What are some ways I can solve it? Instead of, oh my goodness, I have all these problems. And it may seem like a very subtle difference, but it's in the subtleties that the big changes happen. It's in the subtleties where you get the most mileage, right? Instead of saying, like I said a moment ago, instead of saying, I can't afford it, that's a stopping point. I can't afford it. You've stated that. Now you have no reason to go out and find a solution because you've already said you can't afford it. And that doesn't inspire you to work towards what you want. But saying, how can I afford it? Well, that's a question. And now you get to think of all the cool things that you could do to afford that thing. The same thing is true about solving problems. And going VIP gives you that focus on abundance because, again, you already have made the rule that if there's a level up I can take to get more out of an experience, I'm going to take that better route because I can get more. If you want to do this, but this is available and this is going to take you to another level, that's VIP. So I'm not talking about just parties and the good life. I'm talking about in your business. Even if your business doesn't exist, you can start exercising this expansion muscle by leveling up at other times. Maybe there's a time when there's something that's a little bit better quality or a lot better quality and it's more money, but that thing's going to last longer. Give yourself permission in the moment to do the VIP. That's VIP. When you buy the nicer furniture, you buy the nicer garment because it's better quality and it's going to last longer because ultimately you can buy something cheap over and over, or you can buy something quality once and have it forever, right? That's in consumer goods. But when it comes time to investing in your development, investing in your business, go VIP. Don't go the cheap route. Because if you go the cheap route, like I said, you're going to attract people that's going to want the cheap route. That's why a lot of you who have had businesses before always had family that wanted the discount. Always had somebody that was wanting a hookup and all that stuff. Because that's who you are. We attract the type of people that we are. But when we level up all the time, you expand into a focus on abundance, you're going to see more abundance. So instead of when it rains, it pours, it's like the more good things I do, the more things I'm exposed. I went to that seminar and I've met all these people. Now I have this great network of positive, affirming people who are helping me grow in the way I want to, instead of just staying down here pecking around with the chickens. Expanding into abundance is a powerful mindset because there's no limits. There's nothing to hold you back when you know that what is out there for you is available for you. Abundance is available just like lack is available. If you focus on what you don't have, you'll have less and less and less. I don't have money. I don't know a person that can do this for me. You focus on what you don't have, what you don't know, what you're not. That's what's going to get bigger. But when you focus on what you do have and who you are, and who you can become, and who you are becoming, and what you can do, that puts you in an empowered position to create the greatness and success that you want in your life. Going VIP, I started going VIP a few years ago. When I have an opportunity, for example, I have business coaches. When I have an opportunity to invest in an up-leveled coaching mastermind, I do it unless it doesn't fit with something else that I'm doing. When I have an opportunity to even just buy something simple for myself, I go in a store. If I had $1 million in the bank right now, would I buy this thing? Then I'm gonna buy it now, right? Doesn't mean I'm saying go out and create all kinds of debt and go wild and spend your rent money on craziness. That's not what I'm talking about. But you're here, you're in this group, or you're watching this video on my page, or you're on my business page because you want something more than what you have right now. And the only way to do it is to expand into it. Some of you are waiting until you see it before you step into it. That's not how faith works. That's not how opportunity works. Opportunity often comes disguised as a challenge or a crisis. You have to step into it before you see it. Don't think, okay, I'm going to get all the problems solved, then I'm going to move forward. No, the problems will never get solved. Problems get solved. Resources show up when there's a gap that needs to be filled. If you've not already made the decision that you want more, there's no reason for a resource to show up. There's no reason for a solution to show up because there's no lack. There's no gap that can be perceived if you haven't already made the decision. So we talked today about exposure. We talked about experience. Exposure to what's possible. Experience with leveling up, especially price-wise, so you can charge your customers. You have to be willing to be the kind of customer that you want. And we've talked about expanding into the focus on abundance as opposed to the lack. There will always be a lack if you focus on that, but we're talking about expanding into abundance. This is why you should always go VIP. And if you are ready to start going VIP in your life and you want to know, okay, MJ, I'm ready to go VIP. What's next? Guess what? You're an expert. And you have the right mindset because you've already made the decision that you want more out of life. You're an expert in something. And if you are interested in monetizing that expertise as a coach and creating total freedom for yourself, I'm talking about time freedom. I'm talking about freedom of income to where you can travel the world with Coach MJ anytime you want to. The freedom to not have to ask off, the freedom to not have to worry about, do I have enough money to pay for it? Robbing Peter to pay Paul. If you are ready to level up in life, take what you already know and as an expert, monetize that in the marketplace, leverage it to create the lifestyle of your dreams. Then I invite you to join my upcoming Build Wealth While You Travel challenge. You can see the flyer right beside me. It starts next week. It starts September 27th. You don't want to miss this. You might be thinking, MJ, I'm not an expert. I can't be a coach. I don't know anything. Guess what? I guarantee within a few minutes, I can show you how you can have several different things that you could be a coach in. Everybody has a problem that they can solve in the marketplace. And you can do it now. And you can do it in a way where you can build wealth. I'm not talking about coaching by the hour. I don't do that. That's not the way. I'm talking about creating wealth because you're able to create results for your customers. And you will be free to work from anywhere in the world. That's what we're talking about. And I invite you right now to go to buildwealthwhileyoutravel.com. My challenge is coming up now and soon, and you want to get your seat. And guess what? We've been talking about going VIP today. Get the VIP ticket. The basic economy ticket, you're going to get the basics. You're going to get everything you need. But with the VIP, you're going to be able to ask questions. You're going to be able to be in a room full of people who have leveled up. So it's a different mindset than those who just took the minimal, right? Creating that network, that camaraderie, that peer group of people who are of like mind, that will be completely invaluable to you. But you got to go out, go to the website now, grab your spot, hit one of the pink buttons, grab your VIP ticket, and get ready to have your mind blown. Again, a lot of people think, I don't have anything to share. I can't make thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars a month with what I know. And I'm telling you, you can. But you're going to need help figuring it out. What is that niche? What is that expertise that I have? You're going to need help figuring out who are my customers. You're going to need help figuring out how do I reach my customers and get my message in front of them so that they come to me to have this problem solved. Right? And then how to use all of this to buy back your freedom from your boss, from your employer. We're going to be talking about all of that during the Build Wealth While You Travel Challenge. So go out there, grab your VIP ticket today, and we will see you in the challenge. Prepare to have your mind blown, sis. It's going to be bananas, but you got to get your ticket. Even if you didn't think you wanted to be a coach, even if you just were like, I want to own my own business, I don't know what to do. Guess what? Coaching can take on many forms. It's not all the same for every person, but you can leverage what you know as a coach in a variety of ways to create the wealth that you want. And that's what you're going to learn how to do in this upcoming Build Wealth While You Travel Challenge. So go to buildwealthwhileyoutravel.com, get your ticket, and we will meet you soon. It's been my pleasure to share with you. I will be back probably tomorrow with another training broadcast. Meanwhile, grab your ticket and we'll talk soon. Take care.